All right, let's be clear about America. These groups have always been around, but boy, did they become emboldened during Discount Don's presidency. And though indictments have come down for those involved in the insurrection, we know one thing. America, you in danger, girl. And guess what? The call is coming from inside the House. Joining me now is New York Congressman Jamal Bowman and Darrell Lamont Jenkins. He's executive director of One People's Project, an organization that monitors alleged racist and far-right groups and individuals. Congressman, I do want to start with you. I want to make it plain for the American people as best as possible, because a lot of people are apathetic and not necessarily tuned in. I want you to explain, should the GOP retake Congress in the fall? What happens to the January 6th committee investigation and its findings? And what might the GOP do or not do with their newly claimed power?
So the January 6th commission would cease to exist. The findings will be completely suppressed and will not be admitted into any further investigations while the GOP will be in power. They would impeach President Biden as quickly as possible, and they will continue to find ways to impeach him going forward. It would also embolden Republicans and the far right and white nationalists across the country to begin to believe that it is their time to not just take power in the House, but the Senate, the White House, and state houses across the country. And we got to understand that this is a group that has been radicalized by the Great Replacement myth and many other things, and have been pushing for violence and pushing for even civil war. So that is what's at stake right now in terms of this election. Our democracy is hanging by a thread, and Black and brown people, our lives are in the balance if these people come back into power.
So I know that you introduced a House resolution focused on white supremacy. What impact does a House resolution have when you look at the carnage and violence that we've seen play out all week in these hearings?
So it's really important for the House to be crystal clear and take a position to unequivocally condemn the Great Replacement theory and white supremacy. It's the first time in history that the House has condemned the Great Replacement theory. And that matters because what we've seen over the last several years is the massacre in Buffalo, the massacre at AME Church, the massacre at Tree of Life, the massacre at Christ Church in New Zealand were all inspired by this Great Replacement theory idea. So the condemnation of it, how swiftly it was done after Buffalo, just 2 weeks after Buffalo, we wrote the resolution, we got to the floor, we voted on it, it passed the House, shows that Democrats in the House at least are united in condemning this. But this is just the first step. There's so much more work to do, and we really need the American people writ large to be engaged in pushing back on white nationalism and where it lives throughout our institutions.
My tongue for no one.